Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. My name is Josh Fredo, and today we're gonna see how to spot a fake Pokemon card. So this is the video I was talking about earlier. I received a lot of Pokemon cards from a college friend who sold them to me, and the set, the Volk, included a lot of fake Pokemon cards. So what we're gonna do is in this video, I'm gonna show you how to distinguish them from real ones. So here we have a Honedge and we have another Honedge. So can you see a difference just by looking at it? Can you spot which one is fake and can you spot which one is the real one? Yes, I promise one is real and one is fake. Alright, that's enough thinking, I'm gonna explain. So, this is the real card. As you can see, this is real. It's from this set. I haven't learned them yet, but here it is. And, well, first of all, if you want to recognize a fake card, the first thing you have to note is the quality of the card. If you see at the real one, you will see that the image is, well, pretty good looking. You can see that Honedge illustration perfectly, you see? And if we go to the fake card, this Honedge illustration looks like a bad print. You see? Also, another thing to note is the colors. Look at that color from that psychic symbol. This will be like a little bit more lavender, like a little bit more soft purple. And this will be like a little more pinkish, like it was a fairy type, you see? Another thing to note is the font. You can see here that the font is pretty different. The fake one has like a little bit of a more prolonged font. And this one is a little sharper. The real one is a little sharper. This one, you can see it's a little bolder. And also the shadows here. The shadows in the basic are non-present in real Pokemon cards. Like, we have another Skorupi here for comparison. It's not there either. So, there's that. Also, we have a little more shadow here. And the color of the card is just, well, non-consistent. As you can see here, it's a little darker than here. It's a little more soft. And another thing to note with fake cards is the attack name. Sometimes when they don't know how to make them, the attack name will always be in the same font as this, in the same font in that little bolder font, and it will be a little bit more standard than this. Pokemon cards, real Pokemon cards, always have the attack name a little bit more to the left and leaving a space between the energy the energy the Pokemon has to have for it to use that move. So, in here, it's a little bit more standard. That space is prolonged, it's a little bit longer. And that's another thing to note. And also here in the Pokédex description, you can see the font is different too. Pokemon cards, real Pokemon cards, always have this font, this little sharper font, which looks elegant, which looks great. And fake Pokemon cards will always have fonts like this. You see? Hope you can see the difference because I'm really bad at explaining, but I do my best. Also, the colors. As I said in the front, the colors were a little bit more soft in the real Pokemon card, but if it applies to the back, well, it's the same process. This Pokemon card, it has like a little bit more of a blue color, like a little bit more of a military blue color. And this one has a little softer color, which could also begin to be looking like a little bit purplish, you see? And also the quality of the impression in the Pokeball looks a little bit crappy compared to the real one. Do you see that? And also, This is something you not want to do because you're not gonna do it with first edition holographic Charizard and see if it was fake or not. But if you're really desperate, if you're like one of these uh, set cards like a common card or something, and you really want to test if it's real. A friend of mine just told me this, I didn't know about this, but Pokemon cards have a little black here. So that's gonna be really difficult for the camera to focus. But alright, yeah, it won't focus it. But what I said is that Pokemon card here have a white line because of the impression. But if you see it really close, the camera won't pick it up. But if you see it really close, the Pokemon card should have, the real Pokemon card should have a black line in between white and white. So it's white, black line, white. My camera won't pick it up sadly, so I can't show you. But if we're in that, the fake Pokemon card will just have white. It would just run white, hold the card. And that's another thing you have to note, because we're gonna do this for science. We're gonna do this to show you guys, never do this, never rip apart the Pokemon card. But this is a fake Pokemon card. If you rip it, it's gonna rip super easily. You see? And it's all white. So that black thing we said looks here, that it's here in all the whole card. It will also be present here when you rip a card. So this is obviously fake. It did not pass all of our tests. I will not rip the Honedge, but as I have this card in repeat like 3 times, as you could see in the previous video, we're gonna rip this Scorpy just to show you, never, I can't stress this enough, never rip apart a Pokemon card that you think may be valuable. If you have a shiny Charizard from Shining Fates, you're not gonna rip it apart to see if it's fake or not. You're just gonna keep it in. Look at other methods to check if it's real or not. So, if you have one of these base cards, you can do it if you want. So, right here, when we rip it, you can see it has that black thing I told you about. You see? We're gonna do this with the Porgly. We also haven't repeat like 3 times. Also, if you break it, it's gonna be harder to break. Like that one, I broke it like so easily, and I could keep doing it. Just breaks. But this one, you have to apply a little bit more force to it and keep on breaking it. You see? And they will have that black thing over there. It can barely be seen because of my camera, but they will have that black line going across the card. So rip Porgly and rip Scorpion, I'm really sorry, but never do this, alright? So I can stress that enough, never break your Pokemon cards, never rip apart a really rare card just to see if it's fake. Just check these details, check these things that I've told you, and yeah, to see if it's real or not. Or if you want to get real specific, you can take it to some places. There are some places that check cards to see how valid they are, to see their conditions, and they can check if they're real or not for you. So you can do that. And just to finish the video, I have another 2 examples of badly made Pokemon cards. Like this Pokemon cards I showed you are really good made. I like really accurate, and you can only tell if they're fake if you take a real closer look to them. So these ones I have here, all of them are fake and have that thing there. Oh, look at this Wismicat card. Its colors all are off. This Swano card too. You can see the font there. You can see the fonts. The color is a little darker. This is a bad impression. So there will be some of them. This one looks really legit. This one looks really real. But as you can see here, I rip it a little, and it doesn't have that thing either. So if it looks really legit, make sure to check the font, because the font will almost always be off in these fake cards. And well, try not to get scammed. I mean, you can't always find out that. But another thing I want to note before we pass to the really badly made Pokemon cards is the size. Real Pokemon cards are like big cards. Fake Pokemon cards will almost always be smaller compared to a real Pokemon card. So that one at the end is a real card. So you can see here that these cards are smaller. There's a little space between them. You see that? So yeah, that's another thing to tell them apart. So these are all fake. This is my real Honedge that will not be broken. That's the fake Wismicon. I will put this right here. So these are like other fake Pokemon cards, but like some Pokemon cards they don't even put effort to fake them. So here they are. First of all, they have this horrible thing here that it's like a rock paper scissors gimmick that I don't understand. These were probably bought like in flea market or in, well, yeah, some places like that fake stuff, or you would almost always find fake stuff. So the first thing to note here is the holographic pattern. So you can see it has a holographic pattern in all of the card, which we have never seen in a real Pokemon card. So that's a red flag, that's something to know. And, well, the big symbol here from rock, paper, scissors. Otherwise than that, the card is well done, actually. The fonts are not that much different of a real card. They're like made correctly, I guess. Look, that's the Electivire from the Pikachu chat. You remember that, don't you? So, and also, look at this. This looks horrible. First, look at the centering. It's horrible. And, well, of course you can see that. The color is all off. In camera you can barely see it, but in person this looks like a sky blue. And, well, it just looks like it was printed on cardboard. It just feels like that. Not from the front, not so much, but from the back, yeah, it feels like cheap cardboard. So, compared to a real Pokemon card, you can instantly see the difference. That's why we could sort the Pokemon cards, this one's real, from the fake ones, so easily just by looking at the backs, because, well, it was pretty apparent. And also, going back to that, the size will almost always be off too. So it's something to note, and always compare them to a real card, so you have that. So, that's done, and we have a third tier for fake Pokemon cards. There are like cards that would have never and will never see the light of day, like this Pokemon Go cards. Look at that. They just took a screenshot of the game and printed it out on a card. It says Pokemon Go on the back and has that same holographic pattern. So, first to note is the symbol. Once again has that rock, paper, scissors mechanic, which I don't understand. It's maybe to make it easier for kids to play them, I don't know. But it has Stardust, it has the candies, it has attack and defense, that these were just inserted like with Word or something, I don't know. Or whatever photography tools you can use to edit them. And we have the name and the health bar. They didn't even bother to remove that pencil there to edit the nickname, but alright. So first of all, there aren't and they will never be any Pokemon Go cards. Or I don't think they will, but this is the same. The front feels good, but the back is all cardboard. And if you see any of these Pokemon Go cards, please don't buy them because they're just fake. There is not a Pokemon Go card set, and there will never be, I guess. So, that's it. That were all my Pokemon cards, my fake Pokemon cards. So, We had this Pokemon Go cards. We have like a lot of them, but they're back there, so I can't reach them. But of that other tier of Pokemon cards, we found these two decks. So yep, there are a lot. Piracy is a thing to worry about. It's horrible, but be safe, stay safe, keep your cards safe. Be sure to always check them, to check if they're correct, to check if the person you're buying it has references. And remember, if it's too good of a good price to be true, it probably isn't. So just keep safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please consider leaving a like down below, and take care, stay kind, and goodbye.